Hello everyone! Welcome to Jojo's PersonaliTV. I'm your host Jasiya.
And I'm your co-host Jakayla.
And our mission at Jojo's PersonaliTV is to provide opportunities for youth and their parents to explore careers and set achievable goals. And today we're interviewing Mr. Thomas McNeil, which he is a he is a field service engineer.
Yep.
So before we were interviewing you, we did some research about engineering, and we see that engineering is pretty hard. So what inspired you to get into engineering?
First I wanted to be a computer engineer because when I was young, computers were just starting to come out and be relevant, and I thought I wanted to fix them until I took my first programming class, and I said, nope, not for me. So I sat down and read a book that talked about all majors and things of that sort. And I found out that mechanical engineering was somewhat spoke to my personality. So it was something that spoke to me.
Did you like to fix things a lot when you were younger?
Yep, I fixed everything. If you guys don't remember, but we used to have the smallest little things called tapes instead of CDs that we used to play our music through. And when they broke, the first things I used to start to fix was those. Then I used to fix my toys and all things like that. And it was just something that I like to do.
That's cool. Have you ever thought about changing careers?
Thought about it. And actually, I'm in the process of going to grad school now to possibly look into being a project manager. But it'll still encompass engineering to some degree.
Okay. What are some things that you do in your job?
I do a lot of things. The fun things I do is travel. So I go all over the U.S. and Canada and places like that. I get to explore different cultures. But the things I do for work is I go to various transit authorities. Those are the people or places that house buses. So when you go to cities and you see all the buses going through, you don't really think about how do they work and what makes them keep working, right? You just figure, hey, they're just like a car. They just work. Well, I'm the guy that whenever the transit authority has issues, I fix it. So whether I fix it myself or get others to do it, I work with them to make sure that buses stay on the road.
What are some problems that you go through in engineering?
In engineering in general, the engineering is a problem-solving job. So my job is all about fixing problems. So whether it's an electrical problem, for instance, I fix buses, but say you wanted breakfast and what you wanted was toast and you plugged in your toaster and you got nothing. You put the bread in, push it down, and it comes back up and it still looks like bread. You got a problem, right?
Right.
So those that fix such problems are kind of considered engineers. You will look at it and say, hey, is the problem within the toaster itself? Or maybe it's a power problem. Maybe we don't have power today. Maybe mom and dad didn't pay the power bill. So those are the questions you try to ask yourself to figure out what's the problem and why this isn't working. So that's the major aspect of engineering and what problems I typically face with on a daily basis. But it also can be improving upon things. So maybe we'll say, instead of having the toaster on one setting to where my bread is always this color, I want it a little lighter or a little darker. Or maybe I want a toaster that already puts jelly on my bread. Those are things that engineers look at.
That would be cool.
What is your favorite part of your job?
Favorite part probably is travel and the interaction. I enjoy interacting with people, and I enjoy fixing problems. So the biggest problem with my job is also one of the better things about my job. Sometimes it gets frustrating because sometimes it takes a lot more time to resolve problems. That's what I've been doing all day, trying to fix things. And it can become somewhat daunting at times or not so fun. But whenever you get to the outcome, it's like a celebration. So I totally enjoy whenever I can get things done and get things fixed.
So does having this type of job give you an advantage at anything?
Oh, it does, because you know what I do at home? I fix everything. So I enjoy when I have I enjoy having the ability to be able to fix my car, fix things around my house, and pretty much anything that breaks, I'm pretty good at fixing it.
What do you think is the easiest thing to fix?
The easiest thing, I don't know. Sometimes cars can be easy because they can be self-explanatory. In regards to my job, I find the easier things to fix are when they're associated to the computers or the programs, because that way the bus actually talks to you. So whenever you guys have iPads, right?
Right.
So just imagine if your iPad said, "Hey, you guys, right now my battery is running a little too low, so I need for you guys to plug me in." That's kind of like a bus. A bus runs on a battery, and sometimes the battery runs low, and it can cause all kind of crazy issues. So those are typically the easier problems to fix when the bus talks back to me. Is when it doesn't talk that causes the problem, because then I have to spank it and figure out what's going on.
Well, can you describe the typical week of a field service engineer?
Most field service engineers travel, as I mentioned. So my typical week, for instance, this week I come off the holidays. So you remember Christmas and New Year. So everybody has the holiday blues that they got to go back to work, and you guys have to go back to school. So returning, everybody has issues. They got problems that happen during that time. So when I come back, I get phone calls of everybody with their problems. Well, it so happens that my latest problem is in Puerto Rico. So what I did was I spoke with the guys there, got an understanding what the problem was, and next week I'll be traveling to Puerto Rico, leaving on Monday, returning on Thursday. So while I'm there, I'll get there, go through the flights and all that stuff, touch ground in Puerto Rico, go to the hotel, hang out. Then the next day, first thing in the morning, I go to the garage and talk with the technicians there to figure out what's going on. So that's when the problem solving part starts to happen. Hopefully I'll be able to fix it while I'm there, which I'm able to do on most cases. Sometimes I have to figure out what's going on and parking lot it to some degree and come back later to fix it. Maybe I need parts or something like that. But on most cases, that's my week. I get phone calls about problems. Some I can fix over the phone. Some I have to travel out to the customer and fix.
What advice would you give to kids that want to be a field service engineer?
I would first say make sure you have a passion for fixing things, because you should not choose jobs associated to money or somebody else's lifestyle. You should make sure whatever job you choose, it speaks to you. Something that you enjoy, something that makes you happy when you think about going to work. Because you got to think, work is something that you're going to be doing for the majority of your life, right?
Right.
So you want to make sure it's something that you enjoy doing for the majority of your life, right?
Right.
So my first thing would be make sure that engineering is something that speaks to your heart and is something that it at least seems like something that you would enjoy doing. Next to that, I would say make sure you enjoy math, because a lot of it in getting through school is going to involve math. So those are probably my two first boxes that I would say you would want to make sure you can check.
How long did you have to go to college?
Well, I could have went to college for 4 years, but because I worked a full-time job in order to help pay for college while there, I ended up being there for about 6. So those who have parents that can pay for school or on scholarship and things like that, you may be able to be done in 4, maybe 5 years. But myself, it took me 6 years to graduate.
What school did you go to?
I went to North Carolina A&T. Aggie Pride?
What are some challenges of your job?
Sometime with the travel, I have to leave my family and my daughter specifically, and that hurts at times. So sometimes when I have to leave her, it's not so fun, but I make it up by taking her on some of the trips I take for work. So though it's a challenge, I found a way of making it a positive as well.
Well, when you got your job, was there like a specific thing that you learned through the years of what the people that interview people that want to be a field service engineer, is there something specific that they look for?
Yes. And one thing that you first look forward to is that they did okay in school. You don't have to be the best of the best, but you at least have to have a certain aptitude. So you can have a C or 2, but you couldn't have a lot of C's. Okay. Second thing you'll look for is interpersonal skills. You know what those are?
Not really.
Those are the skills that you're displaying right now and able to talk to me. So that's communication. Those are the soft skills that people have to be able to talk to anyone, whether it be the CEO, a big boss in a company, or even if it's the guy who's just cleaning the floors. You want to make sure that you can have that range and be able to talk and have conversations with everybody. So that's the second skill set. I would say third is probably to be able to be technical and get things done, to be a fixer, to not complain and not rely on everyone else to do your job, but you be the one who is able to do the job. So when we look at all three of those criteria, if you can possess all of those to some degree, you can pretty much get a job.
Was it pretty difficult in the interview?
Not really, because I like to talk, as you can tell. So as long as you can run your mouth and sell yourself, then I don't have a problem.
When you started engineering, how did you feel?
I felt a little nervous at first because being an African-American man, there are not a lot of people that you will be working around, and going to a historically black college, a lot of your peers would have went to schools like NC State, Clemson, and other schools that at times people feel like your school is inferior to. So because of that, you question yourself and you wonder, am I smart enough? Nobody looks like me. Nobody talks like me. You just feel a little nervous. But after a while, when you become more comfortable in who you are and your capabilities, then it doesn't matter. Everybody just respects you for what you can do and not how you look or how you sound and things like that. So over time, it was okay.
Well, what advice would you give kids that are kind of nervous about being an engineer if they're going into that field?
I would say first, be your own cheerleader. Find a way to find confidence in yourself. Not be too confident. So you don't want to be so confident that you're putting people down, but you want to be your biggest cheerleader. So just imagine you going to who's your favorite sports team?
I don't really watch sports like that.
For the sake of the argument, we just say the Panthers then. So say you go to a Panthers game and you got 1 million people in the stands and you got cheerleaders and you got all these people cheering you on. Let's go. Come on. Good game. Good day. Good game. That's how you have to be for yourself. You have to be your biggest cheerleader. So even when you fail, even when things don't work out the way in which you think they should or you want them to, you have to cheer yourself on and keep yourself in the game, because that's the only thing that's going to get you to the finish line.
So what type of skills did you learn that as a kid that's helped you with your job today?
First thing I learned is communication. Communication is key in any job which you have, whether it be engineering or whatever the case may be. You have to be able to talk to people, convey your thoughts, and do it in a very effective manner. And on a wide scale, you have to be able to talk to kids like yourself and also leadership, per se, older people or more experienced people. So communication is probably the biggest skill set or biggest thing that I learned while young that translates to today.
Would you recommend any other kind of jobs to kids in engineering?
Oh, of course. I would first and foremost recommend that they become a mechanical engineer, because that gives you the most opportunity to find an engineering discipline that suits you. Because there's a wide range. You can become a design engineer. You can become a test engineer. You can become a industrial engineer. You can become so many engineering disciplines just under the umbrella of mechanical engineering. So that will probably be the first recommendation that I will make to most kids. Other than that, I would probably say, I guess the other flexible or the most flexible engineering discipline other than mechanical engineering is probably electrical, but I'm pro mechanical. So if anything, I say become a mechanical engineer. It's fun.
Was anyone in your family in the engineering field?
Actually, no. I don't even know where it came from, to be totally honest. I think, as I said before, I was intrigued by computer engineering, and at some point, after, as I said, reading the course curriculum, I got introduced to mechanical, and that was that. I actually, I don't know where that spark came from. So it wasn't anyone in my family or anything like that. So that's why I think it's important for me to share as much as I can my engineering experience so other kids, even if it's not from their family, can be introduced and interested into it.
Is there a quote or a motto that you live by?
If I had to say one thing that I live by, it would be chance favors the well prepared. You know what that means?
No, not really.
Okay, so let me break it down. Quick second. Chance is life. Things can go good, things can go bad, right? But we always hope for things to go good, right? Okay. Favor is that things are going good. So if we want chance to favor us, then we need to be prepared for that. How do we prepare? Let me answer that. It's by going to school, it's by doing well, and it's by doing the things at which we should, so the things that we want to happen will happen. So if we want to get a job in engineering, we can't go to school and just mess around and play and do whatever we want to do and think that we're going to get a job in engineering, right?
Right.
We have to be prepared. So we have to go to school. We have to listen to the teachers. We have to pay attention. We have to read. We have to educate ourselves on those things that we want to have chance favor us for. So in the end, we should always be preparing ourselves for the things that we want to happen in life.
How'd you prepare yourself for what you wanted to happen?
I prepared myself by going to school, by making sure I made decent grades, by always paying attention and making sure that I made the right relationships and not following those friends that weren't doing things that I didn't want to do or that I didn't see them taking my path. So one of the keys to that is always surround yourself around people who want to do similar things or have similar goals.
Thank you for allowing us to interview you. We really enjoyed it.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure participating in this interview. I think you guys are doing a great thing, and I hope it was something that I said that can inspire future engineers.
Thank you.
And all of you guys out there, thank you for tuning in to Jojo's Personality TV. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and follow us on Twitter. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Be who you wanna be. It's your personality. Be who you wanna be. It's your personality.